Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end, because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click and subscribe down below, because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 67. Love created me like itself. I really need this lesson today. My husband and I had our COVID shots yesterday here in Mexico. What a process. We were up at 6 a.m. and rushed out the door to wait in line. We were lined up along a long brick wall for a couple of hours, just standing and waiting. It was at the University of Guadalajara. Finally, they opened the gate, and one by one, social distancing, hundreds of people, we were allowed to enter into the grounds. We were shown to a particular seat that was socially distanced, and we waited for another 3 hours. I'm not a good person to sit for long stretches. I had to get up and walk around. I phoned a few friends. I read an entire book. Finally, we asked an English-speaking person what was the holdup, because no one was moving. No one was leaving. We finally figured out that they hadn't even started vaccinating yet. They had no facilities for keeping the vaccine cold, so it had to be flown in from Mexico City and used immediately. We were waiting for the vaccine to arrive. I'll bet you can't guess what our special treat is going to be today. Thank goodness I'm a few ahead of the game with these videos. It wasn't really a problem, because by the time we got home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I could barely move, never mind string an intelligent sentence together. So here we are, lesson 67. Love created me like itself. That means that I am literally love, but I did not feel like love this morning. I'm just overtired and frustrated and feeling the emotion of this past year. My husband has respiratory issues, so it's been quite concerning for both of us. But we're almost there now. Very soon we'll all be vaccinated, and we'll be able to return to some sense of normalcy. In the meantime, let's remember, love created me and love created you like itself. This means that we are literally love. Let's read today's lesson. Today's idea is a complete and accurate statement of what you are. This is why you are the light of the world. This is why God appointed you as the world's Savior. This is why the Son of God looks to you for His salvation. He is saved by what you are. We will make every effort today to reach this truth about you and to realize fully, if only for a moment, that it is the truth. Let's talk about it. When I read this statement that I am the Savior of the world, I go, oh boy, is the world ever in trouble? And yet these lessons promise me that this is the truth of who I am. This is the truth of who every single one of us is. We are given the gift of these lessons. They were dictated by Jesus straight to Helen Schuckman for you and for me to accept the truth of who we are as pure love, as the light of the world, as the Savior of the world. That's a big deal, my friends. Let's keep reading. In the longer practice period, we will think about your reality and its wholly unchanged and unchangeable nature. We will begin by repeating this truth about you, and then spend a few minutes adding some relevant thoughts such as, holiness created me holy. Kindness created me kind. Helpfulness created me helpful. Perfection created me perfect. Oh my, how I love those statements. This is who we were created to be, my friends. We have been practicing these lessons for 67 days now, and day by day, bit by bit, we've been chipping away at the thought system of the ego that tells us that we are weak, we are frail, we're small, we are insignificant. A Course in Miracles is retraining our brain to accept the truth of who we are. Holiness created me holy. Kindness created me kind. Helpfulness created me helpful. Perfection created me perfect. Do you have any resistance to those ideas, my friends? If so, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Take out your journal. Write down whatever is holding you back from accepting your true, glorious, beautiful, divine self We are literally a piece of God, my friends. Let's keep reading. Any attribute which is in accord with God as He defines Himself is appropriate for use. We are trying today to undo your definition of God and replace it with His own. We are also trying to emphasize that you are part of His definition of Himself. Let's talk about it. What attributes would you assign to God? When I think of God, I think of divinity, I think of holiness, I think of majesty, I think of awesome, I think of amazing, I think of all-powerful. All of these attributes and so many more are true of God. If they are true of God, then they must be true of you, and they must be true of me. Let's lay down our resistance to these ideas, my friends. Even if we can accept them just a tiny little bit, then we are on the road to accepting ourselves as God's beautiful, beloved, perfect, glorious, wonderful, joyous children. Every single one of us. Let's celebrate this today. Let's keep reading. After you have gone over several such related thoughts, try to let all thoughts drop away for a brief preparatory interval, and then try to reach past all your images and preconceptions about yourself to the truth in you. If love created you like itself, this self must be in you, and somewhere in your mind it is there for you to find. Let's talk about it. This is talking about our meditations. When we take the time to sit quietly with God, we allow ourselves to drop past all of our limiting thoughts, all of our false beliefs about ourselves. We let go of the mind chatter, and we allow ourselves to go deep inside of where the truth about ourselves as God's beautiful, beloved, perfect child lives. Let's keep reading. You may find it necessary to repeat the idea for today from time to time to replace distracting thoughts. You may also find that this is not sufficient and that you need to continue adding other thoughts related to the truth about yourself. Yet perhaps you will succeed in going past that and through the interval of thoughtlessness to the awareness of a blazing light in which you recognize yourself as God created you. Be confident that you will do much today to bring that awareness nearer, whether you have succeeded or not. Let's talk about it. Even if we don't succeed in reaching that place where we know that love abides deep inside of every single one of us, every time that we take our time for these meditations, we are getting closer and closer to seeing the love that is inside of us. Let's keep reading. It will be particularly helpful today to practice the idea for the day as often as you can. You need to hear the truth about yourself as frequently as possible because your mind is so preoccupied with false self-images. 4 or 5 times an hour, and perhaps even more, it would be most beneficial to remind yourself that love created you like itself. Hear the truth about yourself in this. Let's talk about it. I'm challenging you and myself to do this today 4 or 5 times an hour. That's every 10 minutes. If we are diligent, we'll be able to keep these ideas at the front of our mind all day long. Remember, we are rewiring our brains. We are retraining ourselves to think with the mind of God and to accept that love created me to be love, that kindness created me to be kind, that perfection created me to be perfect, that holiness created me to be holy. On and on the list goes. We cannot have a bad day when we're keeping these ideas at the front of our mind all day long. Let's finish the reading. Try to realize in the shortest practice periods that this is not your tiny, solitary voice that tells you this. This is the voice for God, reminding you of your Father and yourself. This is the voice of truth, replacing everything that the ego tells you about yourself with the simple truth about the Son of God. You were created by love like itself. Let's talk about our practice sessions for today. First thing in the morning, last thing just before we go to sleep. We read or listen to today's lesson and then meditate for a minimum of 5 minutes. And the more disciplined that we are in doing these meditations, the more we're going to thirst for this time with God. It is becoming easier and easier for us to access that light and that love that is deep within every single one of us. Throughout the day, every 10 minutes or so, even better, all day long. Keep these ideas in your mind. You may want to continue with setting your watch or your phone for your hourly sessions, so you stop and do a quick meditation. As you allow these ideas to rewire your brain, holiness created me holy, kindness created me kind, helpfulness created me helpful, perfection created me perfect. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell someone about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat? Bravo to Mexico. This is the vaccination system. We're at the university. Show up, wait for hours. The nursing students are doing the intake. Super impressive. Love created me like itself. Have a day of accepting your own love, holiness, peace, joy, perfection, kindness, and helpfulness, my friends. I love you.